The point of why we down here, right, or the point of why we're in the physical realm is to master it. That's what this whole thing was. That's what the whole script was about. It was to master the physical realm, which is called Satan. Satan has many names: magic, neuromelanin, the philosopher's stone, mana, uh, black substance, dark void, physicality. He has many names, right? That's why they say that Satan rules this realm, because he literally does. Satan is the embodiment of physicality. That's why they say that God, or Satan, is one of God's, if not God's greatest inventions, right? Because in this realm, this is the only dimension, right, that can anchor every dimension within it. So you can consciously be in every other dimension there is: the first dimension, the second dimension, the fourth dimension, the fifth dimension, the 11th dimension, while still being in this third dimension fixed position reality, right? That's the special part about it. But see, you gotta understand, Satan is a gnarly motherfucker. The physical material realm is very immersive. So that's why they always say in these biblical texts, or these texts, it's real easy to get lost into worldly possessions. It's real easy to get lost out here because it's so immersive. Everything is so tangible here that you can lose yourself, right? So originally we had, well, collectively, because we're already getting back to that point. We've already made it collectively, right? That's why they're sending out them files as a reminder. Originally, we had all of those abilities where we had everything anchored from the spiritual realm, where the spiritual realm, or the higher realms, was how we look at the physical realm. So how we look at the physical reality was how we was looking at the spirit realm back in the day, right? But because this was a new realm, this whole realm was a baby. Satan was a baby. Satan, it was too, like I said, immersive. I'm gonna use that word. It was too immersive to our being, because this is a new experience to us. We never experienced emotions up until this point. We never experienced tangibility. We never experienced physical material matter before. So this was all new to us. So the things that were unfamiliar, whether it be the light side and the dark side, was so heavy that it eventually, due to entropy, we got lost in the sauce. Whether it was the things that come with this realm, the lower energies, vanity, greed, gluttony. That's the 7 deadly sins. That's the story of Adam and Eve when they said, and the apple is not even in the Bible. It's not even in Genesis, but the metaphor of, even with the Bible, with the apple, right? That is an allegory of us ascending down in indulging in the lower things. That's a perfect example would be, let's say you're a person who doesn't like to drink, who doesn't like to smoke, whatever. You're a real stickler. You ain't really you just stiff as hell. And you've always been like that. You just been in the books. You just do things by the code. But a friend offers you some weed, offers you something that's low vibrational but fun to indulge in. You take a hit, and now that's a whole new world to you, and now you can't get out. And now your friend looking at you like, whoa, bro, you good? Calm down. He can't get enough of that shit because he never had it before. That's how we looked at the physical realm. So we got too much into Satan. We got too much in. That's what Satanism is. Satanism, the actual textbook definition of Satanism, is to be too much in the physical, too much in the flesh, too much into lust, too much into lower extremities. All right. Then you get lost in there. Then you get lost into that world. So eventually we got too caught up into it that we got kicked out of the higher realms. All right. The gatekeepers kicked us out the gates. All right. So a lot of us lost. Well, we didn't lose it at first, but the connection down the line slowly got dimmer and dimmer from the higher realms. Our connection, our telepathy, our intuition from source, our intuition from signals from your thoughts, signals from just that innate instinct from other sources, from the invisible realm, from the esoteric realms. That shit got too blurry once we got into all of this stuff. Once we got into food, once we got into all this stuff in the physical realm. You know what I'm saying? So when that happened, thus begins the story of mankind, the world, Earth, right? This begins the pretty long story and the journey of how we went from the physical world to now mastering it. And I'm going to put a part 2 on this because women, Satan, and the fall of man is the 3 main things that pretty much makes this whole entire script. So that's the 3 main things that set the tone for why so many worlds have rose and fell due to what we've been doing here this whole time.